From the Green Room Studios at Bates Nursery in Nashville, Tennessee, it's Gardening Inside Out, a podcast with highlights from our Saturday morning live show, answering all your gardening questions, giving you plant advice for any space in your life. Let's start the show.
Hello, it's Caroline Gant.
Hello, Austin Lowen.
And Tyler Blankenship right here.
Mm-hmm.
Right across from
in
me.
your ears.
Mm-hmm.
Right in them ears. Y'all know what?
What?
Grass is growing.
Oh my gosh.
I mowed the grass yesterday.
I was about to say, you cut grass yesterday, and that means it is spring. That's official. When Austin is out on that riding mower, warm weather is here.
It's here. You know what, though? I didn't cut all that much grass, let's be honest. I cut a lot of dead nettle.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of them cool season weeds, y'all. You know what I'm talking about. If you got them beds, got that lamium in it. Oh, it's so lame.
I pulled a lot of it yesterday. But you've got some just mingling with them pansies, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Although...
It's kind of cute.
Well, I took a picture and I sent it to a few people because it was the dead nettle, which is lamium, the little purple flowers that are blooming now. And they were kind of mixed in with my pansies a little bit. And I wasn't super mad at it. If you know me at all, I'm very clean. I don't like weeds, especially around things that are pretty. So, but I left those just for the picture because I was like, it's not bad. The dainty purples with the pansies that are doing good. But then you know what?
You pulled them.
I had to.
You had to.
I could not.
There's no
help
way
myself.
you could leave it. I could leave it.
I could
You
not.
could never.
Nope.
Never.
They came out.
I had some fescue seed from last year sprout.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it was just dormant the whole year or something, or maybe,
Sleeping.
I guess it looks fresh and beautiful, and it's like hair, honestly.
Yeah. Very fine, delicate hair.
Yeah,
Speaking
that's
of
green.
grass, though,
but I have not cut it yet.
guess what's poking up for me? Just a little bit.
Switchgrass.
Switchgrass. I had to
Oh, wow.
look. I had to look for it.
So I need to get, I know you said that to me earlier. I need to get down and look at mine. Mine still has some like leaves at the base, like right around the base. So like mine might be coming up, but I haven't looked yet. I will. I'll
Mine
look
was
soon.
barely, but everything's pushing up so fast.
It seems earlier
Like
this
my
year.
peonies, so high. I walked out there to look for them. I couldn't find them. And you know why I couldn't find them? Because they were so big.
That makes so much
And
sense.
I wasn't looking for something that large. I was looking for something close to the ground because like days ago I found the little eyes peeking out. They were like less than an inch high. And then I was like, where did they go? And they are inches high now and I couldn't find them.
Well, that's cool.
Hiding in plain sight. By being big, not small.
Tyler, give us a lettuce update. It should be looking nice, I bet.
The lettuce is coming on faster than the mache or the corn salad. And I definitely got way more germination from the lettuce than the corn salad.
What variety of lettuce did you plant? You
It
remember?
was like a chef's medley mesclun mix.
Yeah.
It was just a bunch of different like romaines and red lettuce and maybe some, I think I also did, I definitely did a romaine variety. But I'm getting really good germination.
Y'all
And
are going to
then-
have so much salad.
Yeah, I'm
It'll be
excited.
Amazing.
I'm kind of thinking because I've sown so much, I might just go baby greens route with it and just, get it as early as I can.
That's what I told you. That's why.
Yeah.
That's how you thin
That's
it
what I
out.
usually do. They taste so much better early too. Like
But
if
the
you leave
thing
them
is-
for too long, they get so bitter.
Like, is there any way to harvest the baby greens without completely uprooting the plant?
Yeah, just snip it.
Yeah, I've cut
Snipping
mine.
Snip it right at the dirt.
All right.
It might even regrow.
And you know how they say to harvest either the top or the bottom leaves of lettuce? Do you know what it is? Like to best preserve the plant. I guess it would be the outermost leaves to me because they're like the most mature, and the inner leave the inner to grow. But
Yes, if you're going to harvest individual leaves, yeah. But in your case, just tip the. Just take the whole seedling.
snippy tippy.
Yep. Take it.
Do it.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. And then I planted my carrot starts finally after a couple of weeks of procrastination where they sat in the bed, but they weren't actually planted in the bed. And they seem to be doing well. They were already fluffing up because we got so much rain and the temperatures have been just perfect, mild. So now they're in there along with spinach.
Nice.
I went in
Nice.
6 and 6 of each. So they're all tucked in there.
Love it.
You're going to have so much good stuff. I did find arugula growing in my vegetable beds when I was cleaning it. It had
Cool.
reseeded itself and it
Yeah.
was big.
Love
Had a
when
little-
things reseed when they should.
Yeah, it was great. I ate most of it
Yeah.
while I was standing there.
I'm starting an experiment here with my leftover peppers in my other raised bed. I have some poblanos that literally just like, I missed and they rotted into the bed over the winter, and there's only the seeds are left right now, and they're just like hanging out.
That's what I did
I'm
with
just
some of
gonna
my
leave
beans.
them and see if they germinate.
I bet they will.
I'm sure at least one out of that whole pepper will reseed.
I hope so too. We've been saving a lot. We've also been saving some hatch peppers and stuff, and I've not used those. I don't know why. Sometimes I'm just a sucker for plant starts and brand new seeds, but I mean those seeds are brand new. You know, I have to kind of convince myself like there's nothing wrong with these.
Mm-hmm.
You save them for a reason. Get them in there.
Get them in.
There you go.
So my diligence with seeds is all over the place, but I definitely love the direct sow.
I do too. I prefer that.
I prefer that too. It's way easier.
So much better
Mm-hmm.
with
Hey,
most stuff. Hey.
My it got cold the other night, so
It did.
like 29 cold, and everyone was kind of freaking out a little bit. I didn't do any covering. I don't have enough that's flushing really to make it that big of a deal. But I was worried about clematis a little bit because it was out in tiny little leaves. Like I mean, just poking. It's fine.
Is it?
Yeah.
Just so everybody's
Good.
aware, it's fine.
We would have been really
It's
concerned
great.
if your
Oh, I'm
clematis
so
took a hit.
relieved.
I would have been sad for you. My Jane Magnolia took a small hit, but it really wasn't that bad.
I
Not
was
as bad
very
as I thought it would be.
Yeah, since you said that, I was very surprised at the Janes around town. Like I saw,
The Janes around town.
yeah, I've been looking at them, and they've been so pretty lately. Hard not to look
I
at them.
love Jane.
And they only took a little bit of an injury, whereas usual years here in Middle Tennessee, like a late frost almost always gets magnolia trees.
That
Like,
happened
it
to
just
mine
happens.
last year. Right when it opened, we had a freeze come by and it just like crushed it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just every few petals just got a little bit of burn.
And I think that worsens kind of as days go on. You kind of see more of that, but as the overall part, I mean, overall they really didn't take it all that bad.
Yeah.
They're still looking good.
And my Katsura Japanese maple that was just starting to leaf out is just fine. There's like a tiny bit of tip burn just on the end of one branch, and that's it.
I've got a Ryusen Japanese maple that's a weeping style green, and it was doing the same thing, just poking out with brand new fresh leaves. But it was only like literally probably, I would say 10 to 15% of the buds that were actually going to crack. So I'm like, I'm not covering this for just 10%. But I didn't really see much damage at all, even on the leaves that were out.
Yeah, doing
That's
just
great.
fine.
I know.
Nature
Got
takes
lucky.
care of itself.
Not
Well.
really much happening.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
My raspberries are leafing out pretty good, pretty much all the way up to the tips, and I snipped the dead tips off, and they're going to eventually just take off right up my trellis.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, it's already underway.
Growing like a weed.
Yeah, I feel like I'm definitely playing catch up now. And speaking of weeds, I started weeding my beds. It's going to be a huge undertaking because I didn't do any mulching last year. And like as soon as you don't keep up with one of those things, it just builds up. It's like suddenly now you got last year's established mature weeds that can come back and reseed because they drop seed. So I'm playing catch up big time.
I know.
yeah.
I thought about that. I thought about that last night, literally. I was just sitting there thinking about it. I'm like, every time I don't come home and just pull a few weeds, those few weeds turn into more and more and more. And like you just said, like the seeds that are left over and germinating from last year, like they're starting to germinate now. And that will be next month's project if I don't get on it. You know what I mean? Like it never stops.
And then they're just bigger and thicker.
Yeah.
And the thing is, while we're at work here, the weeds are just growing away.
Yeah.
And they'll be ready seeds soon. I mean, I'm already looking at some of them, and they're looking about ready to pop because they're already blooming right now. So in the back of my head, I'm like, come on. But I had, other projects to do this weekend. So I was like, I see you, but I'm coming back for you. And I kind of have to do it in pieces.
Yeah. Speaking of pieces,
Yeah.
It's time to piece this episode together.
Piece it on out.
Piece it on out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Peace out.
This week was a great one. I feel like we're getting great engagement from everybody out there. And feel free to drop us a line, gardeninginsideout@gmail.com. Also, our Instagram channels are wide open and live on the broadcast. We just love hearing from you and love being able to answer your questions.
Yes, we do. Gardeninginsideout@gmail.com if you want to send in photos, if you have specific questions. But let's get into it. You'll hear our voices as well as David Bates and Josh Carey.
It's spring.
Got a lot of questions about vegetables and herbs, which we got another shipment in here at the nursery. So let's go ahead and start with those today. What is the appropriate time of year to cut back culinary sage in a raised bed? My sage is 18 to 20 inches tall right now.
Wow.
That's a big, tall sage.
I wonder if that's new growth or if that's old
Last
growth
year's,
from
yeah.
last year.
Probably
yeah.
last year's. I had one that was up. It wasn't quite that tall, but it was like a shrub. It was pretty gorgeous.
And they can certainly get that way. And if if it's fine, if it looks good and your foliage is okay, then I guess leave it up. I mean, I don't see any reason really to cut it unless it looks kind of bad. If you're starting to see new growth like from the base and it's wanting to kind of take over that old growth, then I guess you can cut back the old stuff. But I mean,
Yeah.
It doesn't taste very good when now.
Yeah.
So yeah, the new
Yeah.
stuff is what tastes the best.
I
Yeah.
would give mine a cut back about this time of year when I had it. But I love that plant. Mine bloomed pink. No, sorry, it was purple. Ooh, it's early. It was gorgeous. So we're going to talk about lemongrass next. And I guess this person actually overwintered their lemongrass, which I've talked with Celeste down in our greenhouse about quite a bit because she likes to overwinter hers. So someone is asking, how soon can I replant my lemongrass? I'd say it's a little bit early right now.
Yeah, it's a little bit early. Lemongrass is certainly a grass that really likes it warm. I mean, it absolutely explodes if you've ever grown lemongrass before. You can start from a little bitty small plant, and then by the end of the season, see a big old plant.
I mean,
Like,
it looks like pampas grass once it gets
really
big.
does.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like it
it's
gets huge in the season, but it really needs those warm temps to really jump. So it's early, like Caroline said, it's early. We don't even have any yet. So I mean, it's not something that you really want to get out too early. It's just not going to move.
I usually put it with my like tomatoes and stuff once
Yeah.
I put that out.
It might be a month before we have much of that because it's just like you say, it's really a warm season plant, and it doesn't benefit you anything. If you had it right now, the cool weather is not its friend. It needs to be,
Yeah.
once you start pushing it, it needs to continue to push. You don't need to be having these setbacks with frost and freezes.
Yeah. There's no reason to jump the gun on that.
Yeah. You've got it inside. Just baby it for a little bit longer. There's no reason to lose all that hard work that you've done over the winter.
Yeah.
So moving on to strawberry plants, we got a couple about that. It's a hot topic right now.
Strawberries.
Strawberries. All right. Can I plant strawberry starts in the ground now, or should I wait until after last frost?
Nope. Do it now. Strawberries don't even care about a frost. They're an evergreen perennial. Literally. Like they stay up and evergreen and they come back year to year. Okay. So you can get them in now. We have some now. We have a good amount. I think,
yeah.
now. Yeah.
We've got a couple trays of them.
It's time to get them in. Get them growing. They're going to flower and fruit here soon. So, yeah.
Hey, let's stick on the strawberry topic. Do all strawberry varieties do well in pots or hanging baskets?
Both.
Yeah, it seems like they would. I feel like strawberries will grow anywhere.
They will, but I will say, like, strawberries do, they send out, what do you call them, runners. Okay, so they will outgrow a pot if you leave them in there for too long. So it is probably good practice to move those every once in a while, or at least move them up into a bigger pot. But in a hanging basket, they're great because those runners do go out and they fall down, on the sides of the pot. You can harvest those and replant them elsewhere, or just leave them to be little dangles.
Little dangles.
And unlike being in a strawberry jar where they're very difficult to get out, a hanging basket, you can just take the wires off and invert it and split those up and replant. Strawberry jars are great and they look extremely cool, but they get in there and they get growing and they're going to take up that soil space, and getting them out of there if you ever want to thin them is a bit more of a chore in that kind of a planter situation. I'm not saying don't do it. Just be apprised of the difficulty that might be involved with it when you get to that point. Hanging baskets a whole lot easier to get them out of simply because it's a tapered type of container and it slides out pretty easily.
We're going to talk about lavender for a moment. Is it better to plant lavender seeds in the ground or start them indoors and then harden off?
Lavender seeds.
I've tried.
All right.
I've planted lavender seeds in the ground a couple of times. I don't have great luck with starting seeds in the ground with lavender.
I would say it would be much better to have a controlled environment, like in like seed cell flats, and plant a bunch of them because germination.
Teeny tiny too. aren't
Yeah, I think they're small.
Oh, they're little. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, starting lavender just with a plant, honestly, is a lot. I mean, we sell little 4P lavender, y'all. It's like what, $3.99?
Couple of bucks, yeah. I mean,
it's
they're
a
not
few bucks
expensive. Yeah.
to get one that's already up and growing. If you want to try from seed, though, hey, I'm all about it. I love growing anything from seed, so you can certainly try. But I would say use seed cells, a tray, and so heavy, like we talk about, so heavy, thin later. because it can be, like I said, the germination results are not always like 100%, maybe 50.
Yeah.
You know, so there's just this balance of like keeping them moist enough on top, but not like wet. It's kind of like peppers. They're the same way. Like it's like a 2-week at least germination time. And it's just keeping them with enough sunlight, the right moisture. Like it can be a little bit difficult, but like I said, I love you for trying. Keep it, just do it. But,
due to the lavender climate, do you think that a heat mat would help?
I don't think that would hurt.
germination?
I certainly don't think that would hurt. Grow lights. Need a lot of light for
All the
lavender.
stuff.
They
People.
like sandy soil too, don't they?
At least well drained. Yeah, I don't know.
They cannot handle wet feet at all.
Yeah.
But they don't want to go powder dry either. So therein lies the difficulty.
Yeah. It is a balance.
Hey, we're going to switch back to strawberries real quick.
Okay.
We just got a strawberry question in live. So I don't need to cover my strawberries this weekend?
No.
Somebody is asking.
Don't cover them. They
said
don't,
no.
they don't want to be covered.
I haven't
don't
done
need to be
anything
tucked
to
in.
mine.
No, you don't have to do anything. Even
No.
through the whole winter, you don't have to do anything. I mean, super hardy plants. Don't cover your strawberries. They're fine.
Don't cover them. And
No.
then we got a comment from Claire. Good morning, Claire. Grass
Claire.
girl who comes out here. We saw her out here yesterday.
Grass girl. Claire Bear.
When the weather warms up, Claire is out and shopping. Claire said Austin and Caroline are absolute gems.
Yes, they
Their
are.
knowledge is worth their weight in gold. Thanks for sharing. Oh, thank you, Claire.
Claire.
Yeah.
Claire, you're awesome too. You have really
great.
cool designs. Claire does really good work, y'all. The Grass Girl.
Yeah.
Look, y'all need a cool design. She's very good at what she does. She will go anywhere to find cool stuff.
She will.
I mean, she showed me a picture of a yucca she got like in South Carolina to bring it back to Nashville around a pool, and it was stunning.
So she's an installer, a landscape artist.
She is a
Okay.
landscaper, but like professional.
Okay.
Like she's good.
Her
If you want
designs are
something-
gorgeous.
Yes,
Yeah.
they really are. She does water features, rock features, any machinery. Like this girl, she is
She
a
does it all.
worker, y'all. She seriously give
good.
her a shout if you need something cool.
Our next question, I think you guys are just really into this heated debate we've had going on lately about vines. So, the snow killed my jasmine. What good alternative climbing plant for an arbor? Y'all know what I'm going to say.
Here we go.
Crossvine.
Crossvine.
Ah,
Yes. Up all year.
Thank you,
Native,
Caroline.
gorgeous.
I think cross vines are extremely underutilized. They have so many great attributes, not the least of which is the fact that they are evergreen. They are the ones that we sell typically are not the straight up natives, but they are decidedly non-invasive. And that really, that's one of the big problems with a lot of vining type of plants is that they just grow too fast.
Right.
Or once they get established. So bignonia or cross vines are very good at staying within their bounds, retaining their foliage year round, and also having flowers. So I think
Now for
those
the answer to that argument, Austin, take the floor.
Hey, grow clematis.
Okay.
I mean, I do love my clematis. Hey, by the way, my clematis
do.
is leafing out. My
Mine is
Germania.
too.
Yeah, it's
I thought
it's
it
an
was
early
dead.
leafer. So I left the sticks about halfway up, and they're cracking from the sticks from last year, but they're also cracking from the ground.
Cool.
And they're sending up new growth from the dirt. So hey, I love clematis. God,
It is a
so
gorgeous
many
one.
colors. So many colors.
I just wish it stayed green. There is an evergreen one that I tried once. And I lost it.
You know, evergreen clematis, it kind of lives ugly over the winter. So it's like, what the point?
It lives ugly.
I mean, it does. It lives ugly. It's like I'm
They do
beautiful in the
pretty
spring
well
and summer.
They do pretty well in Memphis or in Huntsville, Birmingham, but here
Just
calling them
south.
evergreen is pretty marginal.
They
Hey,
smell
that's the
so
thing.
good though.
They do smell good. There's a variety. What's it? The apple blossom.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful variety, and they're actually blooming in our greenhouse right now.
Okay.
You can come out here and smell them. And like I said, we just talked about that. They do stay evergreen. They keep their leaves through the winter, but they look a little rough. You know, they just kind of go like, They don't like that cold. Like we got down to 0 this year. I mean, so they are like, some of those leaves are not good.
Yeah. Not good. So that's not your favorite clematis, is
No.
what you're saying.
It's not.
No, it's not.
I
So-
like the ones that go dormant. I don't care about the wintertime leaves.
I do.
Give them up.
Gardening Inside Out is brought to you by Earth Mix, featuring Garden Premium Topsoil Blend. This essential mix includes Tennessee subsoil, supernatural organic compost, humic acid, and mycorrhizal fungi to create a truly living soil. Garden topsoil is perfect for establishing raised, edible, and ornamental garden beds, as well as for planting trees, shrubs, and other landscape plants. Bulk and super sack options available. Visit earthmix.net to discover their entire line of soils and amendments and helpful blog posts. Success begins at the ground level when you use EarthMix garden products.
Caroline, did you see Barbara's comment?
I did. I was about
Okay.
to wrap it back around.
Okay.
So Barbara is asking about crossvine. Let's talk about crossvine a little bit more. Barbara is saying my arbor is not in full sun, like the roots would be in the shade. Would crossvine work there? Yes. And then a second part to that also, would crossvine work in a pot? I believe so. It's really, really hardy. We have some in pots that we've overwintered here. They looked great over the winter.
Yeah.
Though we did have them in a greenhouse. I think it would be just fine in a pot.
Yeah, I mean, anything could be found in a pot. You know, I mean, everything's grown in a pot, so I don't see why not. You
Some
know?
stuff seems to do better, like your rose that you put in a pot did way better in a pot than in the ground here.
Roses, yeah,
Not a lot of stuff, but I did want to mention that.
yeah. My rose took a hit, man.
Oh no. Oh no.
It's so annoying.
Are you okay?
No.
He's not okay. So let's move on to a second question to get his mind off of that. So staying with vines, are there any wisterias that are not considered invasive? So something that's not going to take over your entire neighborhood.
When I was a boy,
Okay.
Oh, here we
that
go.
was way back last century. We lived in North Carolina, and we had one that was in a tree form that stayed just about 6 feet tall, bloomed reliably every single day. I mean, every single year. And then it didn't run. It didn't send out shoots. It didn't climb up the pine trees. But it must have been a unique one because that town of Wilson, North Carolina, has trees that have been just absolutely inundated with wisteria.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, wisteria can take over it can take over the woods. I mean, it can really run anywhere. And
Right.
what you're talking about is a tree form wisteria, and the way to achieve it's not a tree.
It's
okay?
not a tree.
No, it's
Okay.
still a vine. It's just been trained to be tree form, so they don't they don't let multiple runners
Right.
go. They pick one.
Okay.
They stake it up. And they get it to where they want it, and then at that point they cut it, they top it, and then it sends out its stems, and that makes this tree form look.
Okay.
But it's still a vine technically, but they have to be pruned and maintained. So I don't know if you were a boy, you may not have noticed your old daddy going out there and cutting on that thing every once in a
I
while.
promise you, the major never did any of that. I absolutely promise you.
Well,
Of
yeah.
course, we bought the house when he retired. So I mean, but so they may have in front.
Yeah.
But we were there 4 years and never did anything to it.
Yeah, well, I mean, a tree form wisteria is absolutely stunning if you
Yeah.
can achieve that. So
That
we
sounds
we
gorgeous.
do sell them every once in a while as a tree form, but that's just been trained as a tree, not
Okay.
it's not like a different plant. Or
But it'll
anything.
still kind of
It'll
take
still-
over. It'll still shoot out runners.
30 feet
If
away.
you don't
yeah.
maintain it, it certainly will.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, if you let them go to seed, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
that's the kicker with wisteria is letting those things go to seed and then the seed being dispersed and then coming up. That's the invasive qualities of it, not necessarily the individual plant.
Okay.
Circling back to
So the
what
answer
variety,
is no, right?
I
Really?
mean, what about American wisteria? Is it not invasive?
I mean, it still kind of is ish. If it goes to seed and you let it go to seed and then it disperses all over the place, it can have invasive qualities. Yes.
So I don't know if anyone else noticed, but I did. Austin accidentally called it hysteria.
I did.
Yeah. And
Thanks.
so I think that
Hysteria.
makes sense because it takes over. Yeah.
Thanks for
Hysteria.
pointing that out.
You're
for
welcome.
everybody.
Well, my wisteria's
kind
been
of a fan of
totally
it.
boring on my fence.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a sputtery
Is it
old
still
jalopy.
alive?
How old is it?
How old is it? 3 years.
There's
I
Tyler.
got it the first year at high. I got it the first year I worked at Bates, and it's still just like.
It seems like it takes wisteria for some reason a minute to move.
Oh, when we bought our first home, we planted one next to the patio to train it to grow up the vertical metal posts, and it did, and it went this way and that way, and I trained it. I put aircraft cable between them and tied it to the house and had it all the way across. We lived in that house almost 10 years. The last year we lived there was the only time it ever bloomed.
Yeah.
Oh, well, at least you got 1 year out of it.
Oh, it was gorgeous.
Or one season.
It was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah, they take a while to do that.
And
They
it crushed the downpipes. It twisted the metal uprights, and it was okay.
Mine
a
at
crazy
least,
plant.
My
mine at
neighbors
least has
had it.
bloomed already.
Well, that's
Yeah.
Oh,
good.
really?
Yes.
That's good, Tyler.
Wow.
Got something out of it. Let's keep on blooming stuff and go to some more questions. Are primroses perennial in the Nashville area? What type might work in shade or early morning sun? They do like indirect sun. I know you said you tried some down by your creek. Is that right?
Ish. Yeah. It was kind of a struggling little thing anyway. But yeah, primrose can definitely perennialize here, but they need that kind of specific environment. Okay. They want shade, they want it moist almost all the time. And they can handle a little bit of sun too. You kind of need them to have some sun as well. They're just such a specific little thing. Like what they
handle heat.
want.
Persnickety.
Yeah.
They are. Yes. And we always get them in early. Caroline's got some up in the greenhouse right now.
Yes, they do.
And they look good and they're blooming, but getting them in that right spot is really crucial for
They
the
love
primrose.
cool weather.
They do. Yeah.
they
As summer
just
draws
don't
on,
No.
Yeah, they got to have shade in the summer, but they do need the sun when it's cooler weather like right now. So
Yes.
it's, like you said, very tough to find just that right happy spot for them.
I
But
know
when
my
you do,
mom
they're great.
has had some. She had it for like 3 years in pots, and she kept them kind of under a tree canopy.
Mm-hmm.
And it was pretty moist under there. There was a lot of pine straw though they were in pots. I know they retained a lot
Mm-hmm.
of moisture. And she had them come back for like 3 or 4 years. And then
Mm-hmm.
she said 1 year they just didn't come back up. So under that tree canopy, they were happy.
nice.
Yeah. When can I transplant my iris? And then they said, thank you. You're very welcome.
You're very welcome. Yes.
Josh is looking at his watch.
It's
What
8:30.
time?
It's 8:30.
So they've got a little while
they got a little-
till
Well,
it's 3:30.
Well, to be honest, irises are already up.
Yep.
Okay. So, we don't typically recommend you transplant when things are already up. Now, let's be clear. They're irises, like the toughest plant on the planet. So if you needed to move them now, just do it. Just do it.
You know, I actually did that on Monday. I had some that I needed to transplant, and I just said, you know what, I'm just going to do it and see what happens.
Yeah, they're
And I
going to
think
be
they'll
fine. I mean, it's kind of nice actually to do it this time of year because you have a little handle to grab onto with their leaves, so you can kind of dig them.
Grab 'em by the hair.
Put the shovel in and grab it and
Good
move it.
soil moisture today, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. Irises are so hardy. It's
I
gonna
love
be fine.
irises. They're great.
I don't.
Well,
Not my fave. They are a state flower.
I was about to say they're our state flower. How could you not like it? You love Tennessee.
He's more of a
Your favorite
Snapdragon
song
kinda
is
guy,
Rocky
right?
Top. I mean, come on.
We got fire
Isn't
and ice
it
over there.
everybody's?
Everyone's is, yeah.
Yeah, today it is for sure.
Is it? Let's talk about milkweed.
Okay.
Is milkweed dangerous to plant in my yard? So if you're talking about it being poisonous or toxic to your pets, it is toxic. So if one of your pets were to eat it, it does have something in it that I believe it'll make them like hallucinate.
Oh, nice.
But
Far out.
don't do that to your dog.
Frankly, there's a long list of plants that have toxic properties, whether it's hallucinogenic or otherwise. Taxus, yews, those are all hemlock. There are a wide number. There's probably more plants that have some toxic level than don't.
Yeah.
So
Morning Glory is one of them.
I have never known any. People talk about poinsettias. During the holiday season, I have never known anyone's animal who ever ingested enough of it to broke.
Because
Yeah.
it's taste
Isn't-
nasty. I mean,
Yeah, that's
I've
the
never
thing.
had any of my pets bother my milkweed.
Well, and also too, like the monarch butterflies are the ones that eat the milkweed, and there's other insects that mimic monarch butterflies the way they look because other birds and whatever know not to eat monarch butterflies because they eat milkweed and they taste horrible and they get
Tastes yuck.
so
They get sick.
that's kind of cool.
So cool.
But no reason not to plant milkweed. Plant milkweed, y'all.
It's a great plant. And if you're maybe wondering if it's going to take over, it does reseed itself, but it's not aggressive.
It's
At
not
least
aggressive,
in my case, it hasn't been.
Very attractive perennial. Also.
Same old rules with the bugs. I mean, if they're bright colored, chances are they're not going to be good for you.
yeah.
And fish and some of the other things around there too.
We got a second question about milkweed. Could moles have killed my rosemary and milkweed? I think
they
they could
could've.
kill anything.
They don't usually eat them though, so
No, they're not eating above the plant. They're eating
Think
below
down
it.
below, yeah.
So they make trenches around the roots and
They killed some some big upright growing boxwood at the back of my house.
Did they really?
Yes.
Wow.
So
Oh.
they weren't feeding on the boxwood. They just chose to dig under them and continue
Cut
to.
the roots
And,
yeah.
it got dry, as
Yeah.
it will happen when you create
Air.
big, tunnels underneath them, and consequently they died. So
Yeah. And honestly,
That's
I
what
don't know, your rosemary may look dead right now, but your milkweed's dormant. So, I mean, that's coming back from the earth. It hasn't
Right.
started pushing yet. So it may not be dead at all.
It's wintertime. I mean, it
Exactly.
doesn't do real well. So.
And rosemary, let's be honest, it got down to 0 and even negatives with the rosemary. So it's kind of right on the line here. So that one may have kicked it.
Yeah, the ones that I had in my raised beds are toast. The ones that
Yeah.
are right up by the house, they're fine. So
Gardening Inside Out is brought to you by Bates Nursery and Garden Center. Spring is at our doorstep, and if your plans involve improving your landscape or starting a garden, then Bates Nursery is the essential place for what you need. They offer the largest selection of plants in the Southeast, from unique flowers and trees to tropicals, roses, houseplants, and native plants. Bates Nursery's 92 years of serving Nashville gives them unparalleled experience in stocking the plants that perform best for your home. Their friendly staff of horticulture experts are ready to assist you with your gardening needs. Located minutes from downtown Nashville in beautiful Whites Creek, Tennessee, just off Briley Parkway at exit 19. Shop inventory online before you visit at batesnursery.com. Bates Nursery and Garden Center, beautifying Nashville since 1932. On my drive-in, I noticed a lot that was just what's in bloom.
with Austin.
Hey, what's in bloom? A lot of things are blooming and a lot of trees actually right now, okay? Let's start with the small ones, though. We're going to start hellebore, still going strong. Them shade-loving evergreens, got to love it. Daffodils still blooming their heads off, doing great. Hey, forsythia still going yellow and looking beautiful. We've got quince this week, y'all.
Quince.
Big, round, blobby shrubs that are blooming. That's quince, and they're looking good. Moving on, let's go to those fruit trees. God, fruit trees are in bloom, y'all. Plums, for sure the first. Pears are blooming right now. And peaches, as we brought into the studio. All of our patio peaches as well. Peaches are stunning. God, I love a good peach tree when it's in bloom. They are great. So a lot of fruits happening right now. Hey, Josh, you love this. Bradford pears are in show. And they are making my allergies horrible.
Oh.
Ugh. I sneezed like 20 times last night. I was driving home and I had the windows down because it felt great. It's the Bradford pears. I swear it is. They're making my allergies go
They
down.
made you
is.
cry last week.
Yeah, they did. Thanks for that. They're
Rethink the
going.
stink, folks.
Yep. Okame cherry, still blooming, but almost done. Yoshino cherry, which is the pink in bud, white in bloom cherry, just started, literally like yesterday. So I'll be talking about this for probably a couple weeks because they're just starting. They are showstoppers. Everybody loves Yoshino cherry. They're fantastic. I love them too. Hey, red buds are starting. They're not like fully full show.
Fully full
Yeah,
show.
I went far on that one. But they are showing color on their buds. Hey, those old country sand cherries are blooming, y'all. These are these small, shrubby cherry trees that are blooming pink in people's landscapes, typically in like real country old yards. Those are going off right now. I love me a good sand cherry. And then, hey, your magnolias are going. The yellowbird, the Jane magnolia, the star magnolia, all of those look great right now. Hey, after tomorrow night, they won't.
No.
Every year they get whacked early, and tomorrow night's like 28, 29, something like that. They're going to be gone. I got a feeling they're going to be gone.
You just answered Annette's question.
Oh,
There it is,
Annette.
Annette.
What is it, Annette?
Annette's question was about my saucer magnolia is halfway to bloom, hoping tomorrow night does not hurt them.
I think it's going to.
Halfway?
Yeah,
halfway bloom.
my Jane magnolia is halfway budded.
That's good if it's only halfway.
It will not hurt the tree.
Yeah, no,
the
it's
tree
not going
will
to hurt your tree.
survive. It's just going to kill the flowers.
It
And
is.
3 years out of 4, that is the case.
It
And
is.
This probably will not be the exceptional year. This will be the year they get nailed yet again.
Seems like, like you said, 75% of the time it's going to. Man, we pass a big one going home every day. That big,
That
big,
huge one
big
at the
one.
bottom of the hill that's
Yes.
just full show. I
Yes.
should get a picture of it on my way home today.
Oh, God.
better.
Before
You
that
better.
frost comes in. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen one this big. And the blooms are so like tight together. And it's just like I have one at home and it's gorgeous, but it's this one.
More sporadic.
Yes.
Yeah,
And this
and-
one doesn't get as much sun as mine.
I know.
Mine is in full sun all day.
Yeah, that one's been there about 100 years.
Okay.
Mine does not.
I asked them.
100.
You pulled up their driveway, you knocked on that door, and you said, "Excuse me, how long has this tree been here?"
Yeah,
Hey,
said,
neighbor.
They said about 100.
That's the
About
best way to
100
find
years.
out what they are if you don't know.
That's
Just be
true.
careful.
Hey, Austin,
Sir.
I got a question for you. Give me another common name for sand cherry. This is the one that I knew growing up. Now, they started calling them sand cherries later on. You got another common name for them?
I don't. That's the only thing I know them as. You tell me. I need to know.
Sistina plum.
The Sistina plum. Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
So, of course, cherries and plums are all same family, so they're inherently more similar than different. So, but anyway, Sistina plum is the other name, but it's the same.
I'm sure I've
Same
seen them,
thing.
but I just cannot place it. I mean,
You
They're
know
a
what they are.
shrubby-looking,
It is, yeah.
red leaf little shrub.
Pretty much, yeah. A little shrubby tree. As they age, they get to be more tree-like, but
Okay.
they're very, very much so shrubby right
Yeah.
now. But
I was kind of wondering what those are because I see
Kind of
them
a short,
all over the
a
place.
short life plant, though. If
Yeah.
you get a decade or 12 years out of them, you're probably have gotten pretty good mileage.
Mm-hmm.
They don't last a long time.
no,
All right. Is that what you got in bloom?
that's what's in bloom, people.
Nice. Beautiful. All right. We got some live questions in that I want to
Yes.
make sure we get to. Let's see. Joan on our Facebook page says, when do you fertilize clematis and endless summer hydrangeas?
Right about now, I'd say. I mean, plants are getting ready to actively start growing, so that's whenever they really want to use that fertilizer. So let's go ahead and get it dropped. There's no harm in doing it now. We're getting into spring, people.
We are getting into spring. All right. And then we have some questions on our YouTube page. I have tried gardenia so many times with very sketchy success. They do really well for me in the winter, but as soon rain comes, they look so bad. They are so finicky. So gardenias, I love them. I don't try them. My mom has had one for years. That woman can grow the stuff that no one else can grow. It's amazing. And then second question from same viewer, which boxwoods don't have the smell? That's the only thing I don't like about boxwoods.
I walked in this morning into the green room and I said, it smells very boxwoody in here. Most boxwoods have that smell, y'all. I'm sorry. It's just part of it. But the Korean types, so like little... No,
Asiatics.
yeah, like the Asian type boxwoods, wintergreen
gem.
and winter gem, those don't have the smell near as bad, but they do get bigger and they grow faster. So get ready to have to prune those if you want to keep those because they get kind of big.
And those were from Samara Dixon. And then Sam Boyette says Hyacinth is doing the work out here this week.
Oh, yes, Sam. Thank you.
cool.
I forgot to write that down. Yes, Hyacinth is beautiful,
And
y'all.
I put Colin's photo up on the Gardening Inside Out Facebook and Instagram page that we were talking about last week, and lamb's ear behind it. So
Nice.
that photo is up. But thank you guys for all those live questions.
Yeah.
All right. We've still got some time to get a couple more in.
Sure we do.
Yellow Lady Banks looking dead at the top, but green at the bottom. Should I cut it back?
Yeah, probably. I mean, if it's looking dead on top, go ahead and cut it.
Go ahead
New
and
stuff's coming. Lady Banks is a vigorous grower, if you know. They typically only bloom about one time, though, a year. It's very heavy when they bloom, but they're not like a repeat bloomer all that much, but growing machines. So go ahead and cut off that dead stuff. The new stuff's coming back with fury.
With fun and fury. My azaleas look anemic. Is there anything I can do?
Iron in your diet.
Iron.
Iron.
A lot of times iron is needed. But really, any basic fertilizer would help with that. Anytime you're seeing yellowing leaves,
What was it, Geritol, David?
No, well, the issue is pH.
Yeah.
And that if your pH is too high for acid loving plants, no matter how much fertilizer you put on there, they're unable to make use of it because it is tied up due to it being out of the range of where the plant can grab it. So that's why if you're using an acid loving plant food or a soil acidifier, that lowers the pH. It has sulfur in it in some form. It could be just elemental sulfur, or it could be aluminum sulfate or magnesium sulfate, something that lowers the pH. And what that does is that makes the fertility that is in the soil more available. So generally on azaleas in particular, when you see that yellowing, it's not always a sign that they are it is a sign they're deficient, but the soil may actually have enough. It's just that the pH is too high. So that's where I would first check is to make sure you can get the numbers down where they need to be. That way, the fertilizer is available to them and not blocked off because it simply can't take it up. When the pH is up in the, say, 7 or above range, it just can't have access to it. It needs to be down around at least down to 6.5, if not down to 6 or 5.5. So there's that.
Okay, time for a hydrangea question.
Okay.
Only one again this week.
Okay.
Will hydrangea live on a north-facing wall?
Yeah, I mean, depending on which one.
The shady kind.
The shady kind,
I
yeah.
gotta put it in the ground instead of on the wall.
Instead of on the wall. You're right, David.
Yeah, get those endless summer collection. Get the arborescens type, which is like what me and David grow, which is the Annabelles and the Incrediballs. Those will do fine in that shadier location. Yeah, they're going to be great. Do it.
Do it.
Everybody loves hydrangeas. Everybody.
I love hydrangeas.
Who
They're
doesn't?
gorgeous. So many different kinds, too. Okay, best practice for keeping powdery mildew at bay. I'm already seeing it.
Oh, gosh. What are you seeing?
Trouble the weather.
They didn't say.
Oh, I wonder what it's on already. This is early for
A little
powdery
cool,
mildew.
too,
Yeah.
yeah.
I wonder if you have overwintering.
Lilacs, maybe.
Maybe.
But there's no foliage on those.
I know, you
Yeah,
wouldn't
mine
think.
doesn't have any leaves.
I wonder
yet.
if it's like perennials from last year or something that like left over.
Could
Any
be on
leftover.
Heuchera gets it.
Heuchera does get it bad. Any leftover foliage, y'all, that is up and has that on it, get rid of that now. You're planning for new growth in the spring. So anything that's old that has a leftover pathogen on it is only going to spread as the spring goes on. So clean that stuff up. That's what I'm assuming is what's happening is just leftover foliage that has powdery mildew already. I hate
Could
powdery
be it.
mildew.
Right.
God, I hate it. It's annoying.
Oh, no. He's shutting down because he hates it so much.
Come on.
All right. Are there any varieties of elephant ear that will survive a Nashville winter in ground? Yes, there are. I had one in ground for years. I transplanted some stuff and I transplanted that with it. Now it's growing everywhere. And I'm so sorry, but the variety is not in my brain right now.
I mean, elephant ear a lot of times perennializes easy here.
It
If you
does.
just get those kind of green leaf varieties that,
Mine was just the large,
that
they're all
large
big.
green
They're all
leaf
big.
variety,
Yeah.
what variety it is. There's so many nowadays, but
Yeah, generally, at the end of the season, what my grandmother used to do is she would cut all the stalks off before the freeze would kill them and lay them down and mulch the bulbs with the actual foliage.
top.
And then she would
Yeah.
put some kind of like leaves on top of that. Now, that's back old school method. If you didn't want to do all that, you could just put actual like hardwood mulch or something over the top. They tend
rot.
to freeze out
Yeah.
if it's a really hard winter.
Yeah.
Didn't have this winter because we had 8 inches of snow over the top when the weather was cold, so shouldn't be an issue.
Real quick, Barbara asks, should small trees and pots be fertilized?
yes, in the spring, do it now. Just get a general fertilizer.
Yeah.
Get some Osmocote to put on top of the dirt. It
Perfect.
slowly feeds through the season. Do that.
Very good. Hey,
We're out of time.
yeah, the music means it's time to go. We're here for you because we do it every Saturday morning and all through the week. So we love doing it. We'll be here next week for another hour of Gardening Inside Out. See you then.
Thank you for tuning into the Gardening Inside Out podcast. If you're looking for more information or more from your hosts, don't forget that we have a live Saturday morning broadcast, 8 a.m. Central Time on YouTube and Facebook. You can also follow us on our Instagram channel. That's @Gardening Inside Out for more posts, reels, and in-depth dives to topics and things we've discussed on the show. If our content resonates with you, consider giving us a follow, like, and subscription on all of our social media pages. See you next time.